I just got another email from someone who said they've seen my videos and now they're considering moving to Querétaro. But there's a few things they need to know first. For the best advice about moving to Mexico, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I upload a new episode every Thursday. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and if you've been here before, welcome back. My name is Alex, and I moved to Mexico from the US in 2017. I've called Querétaro home ever since. Last week, I put out a call to my YouTube community, email list, and Instagram followers asking for your questions about living in Mexico. In today's video, I'm answering some of the most frequently asked questions that I get about life in Querétaro while going about my life in Querétaro. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video because I've got a big announcement, something special I've been working on to help you prepare for your move to Mexico. What is the closest airport to Querétaro and how easy is it? What is the best way to get to Querétaro from the US or another international destination? Now I'm going to answer that while I am returning my recycling. Querétaro has its own airport, and while it's not very big, it is still an international airport, and I have flown once out of Querétaro back to the US. Of course, because it is a smaller airport, flights are more expensive. I think it cost me around $500 USD to fly round trip from Querétaro with a short layover in Dallas and then onto South Bend, Indiana. For the cheapest flights, I recommend looking at what's available in and out of Mexico City. For my fellow Midwesterners, I've scored flights for around $200. That's a round trip from Mexico City to Chicago. Up next is, does Querétaro have many green spaces or areas for hiking? Now, the place that I'm at right now, the Casa de la Juventud, the youth center near my house, isn't for hiking per se, but I love coming up here to use the track. It's about a quarter-mile long. There's also a soccer field. It's really pretty up here, especially right now with the jacaranda trees in bloom. I mentioned the soccer fields because thanks to that, thanks to the trees, it is a little bit of a green space here in the heart of Querétaro City Center. As far as areas for hiking, there is a national park just 15-20 minutes, honestly an Uber ride away from downtown Querétaro. It's called Parque Cimetorio. I haven't been there yet myself. It was closed for a long time during the height of the pandemic here, but it is open again, and if you would like to see a vlog there, see me hiking around Parque Cimetorio, let me know in the comments. Often people will ask me about the air quality here in Querétaro. Specifically, they want to know if pollution is an issue. In case you didn't know, Querétaro sits at a pretty high elevation. Given the high elevation, Querétaro does have, I guess what you would call thinner air. And I didn't really notice that when I first moved to the city, when I was out walking around, getting settled. But when I went for my first run not long after moving here, I could definitely tell that the city was at a high elevation because it was a struggle to breathe. I've since adjusted to the elevation. It's no longer an issue for me, but on some days I still have a little bit trouble breathing. Actually, it kind of feels like my allergies are acting up, and that is due to the air quality here. There are a lot of factories and manufacturers outside of the city. There are some big companies here, including Boeing, Kellogg's, Gerber, Samsung. Seriously, that's only naming just a few. In addition to the factories, there are all of the car and bus emissions. Put all of those together and you can get a pretty poor air quality on some days. So if you are someone with respiratory issues, that is something that you might want to look into before moving to Querétaro. Here is a good one. What are your thoughts about cars and transportation in Querétaro. I have not had a car for the first 3.5 years that I've lived here. And while Taylor and I are strongly considering getting a car now, it's definitely not necessary. Especially if you're living in the Centro Histórico like we do, the center is very, very walkable. For the places that you can't walk to, there are intercity buses, but my preferred option is Uber. Uber is very affordable, very plentiful, and very safe in Querétaro. Honestly, most rides don't cost more than 50 or 70 pesos in the center. You can even get all the way out to the airport for about $10, $12 USD. That's a 30-minute ride. All this walking and talking is making me thirsty. I had to stop and get some coconut water. Being at the market just now, I thought it was the perfect time to answer this next question, which is how well do you need to be able to speak Spanish to get by in Querétaro? I always tell people the more Spanish you know, the easier it's going to be to settle into your life in Mexico. However, like I said, having just been at the market, it reminded me that you really can get by with limited Spanish. Even being in a very traditionally Mexican setting like the market, you can get your order across, get your point across, just pointing. I don't want you to think I'm letting you off the hook to learn Spanish though. In the description of this video, I'll put a link to a blog post with my top tips for learning Spanish as an adult, plus my favorite resource for finding affordable one-to-one classes. I want to get a couple more things done around the house before I go to meet my friend at 4. It is already at 3:10. We're going to meet for a drink. One of the things that I wanted to do was answer this next question. Do landlords care if you have your tourist visa, or do they want you to have at least your temporary residency when renting you a house or an apartment in Querétaro? The answer to this question depends on the landlord. In our case, with our rental here in the Centro Histórico, our landlord was completely fine with us just having our tourist visas. In fact, she didn't ask to see any type of residency, cards, paperwork, yada yada. She just wanted a copy of our passports. Some other friends moved to Querétaro, some other foreigners who one of the stipulations of their contract was that they had their residency. What's required by one landlord could be totally different from what is required by another landlord. If you're nervous about renting in Querétaro, renting in Mexico, then head to the link in the description and make sure you download the completely free 25-page Move to Mexico Quick Start Guide. Lots of my subscribers have told me that they've found this guide super, super helpful, particularly the apartment hunting tips and the renting in Spanish cheat sheet, which tells you exactly what to say in Spanish. It has the phrases that you can WhatsApp to a potential landlord when asking about a property. Just gotta run to the ATM really quick before I meet Luis. I am so glad that I could meet up with Luis for a drink. We are up at Plaza Fundadores, and if Luis looks familiar, it's because you saw her apartment tour, her adorable apartment tour in Hercules. If you haven't seen that yet, you have got to check it out. So I thought, Luis, that we could chat a little bit about making friends in Querétaro, what your experience has been.
Some things that worked for me were expat groups. So on Facebook, there's almost always expat groups. One is called Expats and Locals in Querétaro, and the other one's called just like Expats Querétaro. Very simple. Try hobbies. Like if you have a hobby that you're into in the US or wherever you're from, like try it here because there's probably people who are into it as well.
I was hoping that, hey! I was hoping that you and John would talk a little bit about Querétaro and whether or not it is dog friendly.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Querétaro is definitely dog friendly. There's honestly so many patios and restaurants here that accept dogs. My co-working space accepts dogs. There's dog parks. Like you see, almost everyone has a dog here. Honestly, you see somebody of them walking in the streets. So I think it's definitely a really dog friendly place.
Without a doubt, one of the most frequently asked questions I get about living in Querétaro is what are the best neighborhoods? I plan on dedicating an entire video coming soon about the best neighborhoods in Querétaro, and I will be visiting them, showing you around, hopefully chatting with some people who live there. But for now, I will tell you the neighborhoods that I plan on featuring. Of course, I will be showing you around my beloved Centro and also going outside of the city center. I plan on featuring Jurica, Juriquilla, Zibata, Milenio 3. What else am I forgetting here? Let me check my notes. El Refugio. If you are from Querétaro, live in Querétaro, and have other neighborhoods that you think I should feature, let me know in the comments. Will you help me answer the last couple questions while we're waiting for the grill to heat up?
Let's do it.
Is it noisy living in the historic center of Querétaro?
Sometimes.
Sometimes is right. I feel like during the week it is usually pretty quiet, but on the weekends, how would you describe it?
Well, we also have the luxury, I guess, of living on an andador, a pedestrian-only street. So that might help a little bit.
We don't get a lot of car traffic going by.
Right. And for the most part, though, I feel like it is super quiet in this area, and we're really lucky. We love it. During a time like, say, Semana Santa, or there are other festivals that kind of happen throughout the year here in the center, and it can be very noisy then.
Yes, I was just going to say that during those festivals, fireworks are very, very popular. And there are fireworks as we know them in the US with pretty colors, a light show, but there's also fireworks that serve no other purpose but to make noise. Those are
just
very
a big boom.
Just a big
Loud
boom. So important to know if you have got a dog or a baby or you just don't like loud booms.
There are also a lot of big cathedrals and churches here in the center, so it's very, normal. You get very used to hearing the church bells.
Yeah, I hear some right now. If you found today's video helpful, you are going to love what I've been working on. Starting May 1st, the doors to my Move to Mexico membership site are opening. When you join, you'll have access to monthly exclusive Q&A videos, much like today's video, but answering your specific questions. I'm also planning monthly Mexico Mixers via Zoom, which will be a really fun time and help you to connect with other people planning on moving to Mexico. You'll also get special discounts to my digital products and services like my Clarity calls. And last but not least, a drama-free Mexico forum. For more information about the Move to Mexico membership site and to add your name to the waitlist, head to the link in the description. I'm Alex from BackpackingBrunette.com. Thanks for watching.